Danny Lightning here, and we all know that the Fenrir used to be one of the absolute best hard-to-kill tanks in the game for many years. Recently, it's been taken from a tier 4 robot and moved down to a tier 3 robot, and it did lose its intel. So on a tier 4 robot, this is what your intel looks like. You do get a couple of bonuses. If we take a look at what the Fenrir currently has for intel, it just says fully suited, meaning we're getting something, I do believe, but it does not tell you what you're getting. So we have no idea what kind of bonuses, if any, it actually gets. Now, don't get me wrong, the Fenrir is still a good robot, but I think you have to play it much differently than you did in the past. So we're going to take this into some gameplay. We're going to let you see it in action. I'll show you some games where I try to play it the way I used to, where I just brawl with it, and then we'll show you a game where we play it more the way you should. So you'll get to see the proper way to play the Fenrir to keep it alive these days, and you'll get to see what happens when you try to brawl with it as well. So after the gameplay, I'll show you the build and we'll do a little review and give you my honest opinions on, is this robot still worth your time or worth playing, and all of that good stuff. So let's go drop this thing into a game, but first, check out this little 10-second message. If you purchase something on the WarRobots web shop, don't forget to click the Support a Creators button and enter code DannyLightning at checkout. You might find some free stuff and some discounts over there as well. There's a link in the video's description and the pinned comment to the web shop. Thank you, and let's get back to the video. Alright, so we are going to drop in our first Fenrir. I think we're going to pick the one with the new Nana weapons. I don't know how to pronounce those things. The Nanas and the Ninus or something like that. I just don't know. They keep coming up with crazier and crazier names for these things, but these are actually a really good set of weapons for longer range or closer range fighting. You can do both with them. Now these days, I think you're almost best not brawling with the Fenrirs. The Fenrir is still a pretty cool robot, but I don't really use it for close range combat anymore like we're doing right now, and you'll probably see why in a minute. But I find it's pretty squishy these days. Like here comes, nope, I thought I saw somebody else coming in here. Now there's that brand new robot, there's the Leo. We're not damaging him at all. He is taking 0 damage. I mean, there he's taking a little bit. But my weapons were doing nothing to, look at that. You can't even damage this guy. He's just unstoppable, right? That is the new king of tanks right there. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous. Now, mine's not that durable. Right now, there's several of us shooting this guy, and he's... oh, that thing blew me up instantly. That's why I don't brawl with the Fenrirs anymore. It's no longer really a tank, unfortunately. I mean, there's some ways to play it. I'll make sure I get some gameplay clips later when I show you guys how to play this thing. But here comes a duck to destroy my second Fenrir. I mean, look at this. I didn't even get his shield down. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and drop in with our next Fenrir. And I'm going to tell you what, that was a very disappointing game on the last game we played. I mean, that duck just came and it wiped me out in seconds. I don't know if that's legit. I don't know if that's somebody running some cheats. I don't know what that is, but I mean, robots are dying so fast now. I don't understand how something like a Fenrir gets wiped out that fast. Now they did take the what do they call that thing, the not the operations, the intelligence or whatever, they took that away from the Fenrir. I can't think of the name right now. I'm having a big old brain fart. But they did remove the intel off of the Fenrir, and I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's why it's feeling so squishy, right? It got moved from a tier 4 robot to tier 3 robot. Now it still has some kind of intel, but it doesn't actually tell you what it gets. So I'm not sure what the intel is on the current Fenrir, but I'm guessing that's why it's so squishy. Alright, so this raptor is probably going to wipe me out. There's a couple of them. So right now I am taking a few hits. I'm not dead yet. I mean, we're fighting a couple of people, and on this match the Fenrir is surviving a little bit. So it's still, on most games when you brawl with it, a little bit on the durable side. I mean, right now there's three or four robots over here, and they're not having an easy time taking me out, but they also did not have a hard time taking me out either. So let's drop in the other Fenrir. We'll go into battle mode and see what we can do here. So come on out of your ability, sir, Mr. Demeter. Bam. Dead. I'm not sure, but I might have just stole somebody's kill. I'm sorry, sir. That was not my intention. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to help, sir, I promise. Alright, here comes, I think, what? Did it die? Whatever that was just kind of disappeared. So let's shoot this thing from a distance, but bam. But this is more how I like to play the Fenrir right here. Hopefully no bad enemy spawns in behind me. Oh, crap. Oh, God, they did, and it's a freaking Titan. Yeah, I'm going to go down like a sack of bricks here. I mean, okay, so we're going to drop in again. We are dropping our Fenrir, and I'm going to try and play this a little bit differently this time. I'm not going to try and brawl with it. I'm going to try and use it more of a mid-range fighter. I think that's what Fenrir is best for these days, is mid-range fighter and not so much of a brawler. I mean, in the right situation, you can brawl with it. So unfortunately, that guy got away. We almost killed him, but he went into a phase shift or a stealth or something. Whatever it was, he went into something, and I missed him, unfortunately. So right now, hopefully my teammates can go over there and take out those guys on the beacon. I mean, we are playing beacon games, so our main priority here should be to get and hold beacons. So hopefully like 3 or 4 robots don't come over here and rush me, because I probably will die if they do. My team, alright, let's get rid of that Hellburner. See you, sir. Bam, he's dead. He just kind of exploded and disappeared, and no one ever saw him again. It's a very sad story. Alright. Who's next? Right now it looks like I can get off of the beacon, so I'm going to use cover. I'm just going to kind of play kind of tactically here. I'm going to make sure I stay back here so nobody can shoot me, because there's a bunch of enemies up there. But I think these days this is more of the way you want to play the Fenrir. The way the game is set up right now, everybody's got long range stuff anyway, so the game's turned more into a long range game than a brawling game at the minute. I mean, you got Devourers destroying you from 8,000 meters away. I mean, it may not even be in the same game with you, yet its bullets travel so far, it leaves its game, comes into your game, and still kills you. I mean, that's about how deadly that thing is. I mean, that's a huge over-exaggeration, but that's what it feels like sometimes, I will tell you. But yeah, I mean, the Fenrir does best as a longer range robot at this point, but when you get up close, you get to brawling. You know, I used to be able to take on 2, 3, 4 robots at one time with the Fenrir. Now it's more suited for one-on-one battles. Like right there, that guy beat me up pretty good, but I mean, that's a Ravager with huge amounts of firepower, so that's expected. I have to try and get him before he gets, oh, alright, I died. Let's bring in the other Fenrir, but this is about the best you're going to get with a Fenrir these days. It's definitely not what it used to be, so the king is not dead, but the king is no longer the king, right? For years and years and years, Fenrir was probably the best tank in the game. Like one of my absolute favorite robots. It never left my hangar, or at least very rarely left my hangar. Now it's one of those things where I'd almost rather play my Invader. I currently feel like my Invader is doing better than the Fenrir as far as durability wise. I can still get into a battle and brawl with my Invader, but I can't really do it with the Fenrir, so yeah. But now Ultimate Fenrir, on the other hand, that thing is still a beast. I mean, there's times where even it goes down fast, and it's unbelievably tanky, but I just find there's so many people doing huge amounts of damage that don't make sense on this game right now, and there's a lot of people that seem to take a lot less damage than they should, which doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. Now, as far as these weapons, I really like these. These are also good close range and longer range weapons. They do great either way, as long as you don't let them overheat from a distance, but at close range, you never actually have to reload with these weapons, because, you know, if you're close enough, they just spray all over the place, but if you're close enough, they will hit your target, and you don't have to worry about a reload. Like right now, you know, he's probably, oh crap, this is bad. Here comes a Mauler. Yeah, we're gonna die. Fenrir used to be able to take on Titans by itself. It can no longer do that. Alright, so here comes a clip where we're going to be dropping in the Ultimate Fenrir. Let's see how this guy can do, right? You're probably going to notice this thing is way more durable. Ultimate Fenrir is still one of the better tanks in the game. If you build it right and play it right, it can take a beating, it can take a licking and keep on ticking. Kind of like what was that, Timex or something? I don't remember. Some kind of watch company. I think it was Timex. Back in the 80s, I think that was their motto or whatever. I used to want one of those watches so bad when I was a kid, and I think I finally got one at some point, and I loved it. Timex watches, for like they had these really cool watches back in the 80s. I think I was a little boy back then, you know. I was just a wee little kid back when Timex was taking a licking and kept on ticking. Oh man. All right, let's go get this. Those robots are a pain in the butt. Sir, come back here. Look how much he's jumping. He's a jumping crazy wild man, and I do not appreciate it one bit. All right, we got to get rid of this guy. Come back here, sir. I got to destroy you. Goodbye. All right, one more shot. Oh, somebody stole it. Right now, our team seems to be doing pretty well, but I don't know. This is the only Fenrir in the game that I can actually play up close with and still do good with it and all that stuff. So, yeah. In a minute, I'll go and show you how I build my Fenrirs and all that good stuff so you can see the builds. I mean, we pretty much stack on all the durability and a little bit of speed on the pilots and all that good stuff. And on the specializations, of course, you want all the durability as possible, as much as possible. I don't think that came out right, but that's okay. Alright, so Ultimate Fenrir, we're about to take on some Titans here. Let's see if we can do okay. What is happening? But I can actually almost still fight Titans with this. Like one-on-one, usually at super close range. Well, I'm dead there. There's something got me. So in the third game there, you can see the Fenrir actually did pretty good when I didn't let anybody get too close to me. I tried to use cover more and played a little bit more tactically, and that kept the Fenrir alive. You can no longer one-on-one Titans. It's not a good up-close, in-your-face brawler anymore when you're fighting more than one single person, and there are certain robots like the Ducks or the Ravager with those horrible long-range weapons that will just blow your Fenrir up really quickly, so you gotta be a lot more careful with it these days. Now, when some of these weapons and stuff get nerfed and maybe things aren't doing as much damage, maybe things will change a little bit and the Fenrir will become a relevant brawler again. But right now, I think you have to play him as more of a mid-range fighter than a up-close brawler, to tell you the truth. Alright, so when it comes to the build, I really like the atomizers a lot. I think those are great weapons, especially if you're fighting up close, and then you never have to worry about a reload whatsoever. And they also do good damage from a distance, so these have you covered from 500 meters or close range, which is one of the reasons I love these, plus you can build them in the workshop. I think the Screamer family of weapons is still really good on the Fenrir because that gives you some nice range and some nice damage. I actually really like the Hell family of weapons. I mean, that gives you 600 meter range. The reload's a little bit long, but if you can work around the reload, these are good weapons for the Fenrir. If you're still trying to play this as a brawler, I do like the Hammer type of weapons. That family of weapons you can build in the workshop is also pretty nice. I do like the Lanani and the Nana weapons, however you say it. I think those are great weapons for this robot when you're trying to play from a little bit of a distance. 600 meter range or 500 meter range is great for this right now. If you're looking for something with a little bit of range and some healing, I think the Athos family of weapons are excellent. They will help you keep alive longer, but you know, I still don't think it's the greatest brawler, even with these weapons on it these days. I do enjoy playing the Jotun family of weapons on here. Nice range, nice damage. These just kind of work. A Subduer and 2 Pulsars, that's a build I actually like on the Fenrir, surprisingly. And if you're lucky enough to get some Ultimate Avengers and the Ultimate Punisher tees, that is a very good build for the Fenrir as well. If you want something that does big damage and you don't mind them shooting a little bit slow, the Decay family of weapons is pretty good. 600 meter range, great damage, but it's pretty slow at shooting, so a lot of people don't like them for that, but I still do like these weapons. When it comes to specializations, you definitely want to go with the Brawler tree. You're going to get your Repair Amplifier and your immune amplifier. Now you can swap out that immune amplifier for a last stand. That's one of those things where you kind of have to try both and see which one you like. But I do like the immune amplifier to get rid of some of those negative effects. And it's also got a speed bonus and a few other really nice things. But once you stack this up, you'll become immune to freeze, lockdown, and suppression. You do get 3% more durability, which is next to nothing. 3 kilometers per hour speed, which is barely noticeable, but it does something. And then, of course, it gets rid of those 3 effects: the lockdown, the freeze, and the the suppression. My gosh, I suck. When it comes to the pilot, I still think Bernadette Wolf is your best bet 100%. I love the Bernadette. So we're going to be running Mechanic, Tough Guy, Stubborn Warrior, Dodger. We don't really need the Dodger, but I still got it on there in case I want to heal more often. We got the Master Gunsmith for a little more damage. We got Armor Expert, and we got Roadhog. And there are a couple of other skills we could put on here. If you want a whole lot of extra durability, you can always go with the Traditionalist, but the problem is you lose your main weapons. So I don't recommend Traditionalist because all you're going to have now is 2 medium weapons if you run that, and in my opinion, that's just not enough firepower. But looking through this list, I don't really see anything else on here that I would choose, so the way I got this one set up is probably the best way to go for the robot. I said robot, yes. No, robot, not robot. Robot. But. Now, when it comes to the drone, I think the Shy is an excellent choice. I mean, that gives you some nice durability advantages and a last stand, or I should say a first stand nowadays, because it triggers at like 80% now, which is pretty crazy. One of my favorites, though, is the Hawkeye. If you're decently close to somebody, you can shoot people with the Hawkeye, and the Hawkeye is going to give you a nice amount of healing. So I'm a big fan of the Hawkeye for close-up or semi-close-up, but now that we're trying to play it from more of a distance, you might want to look at something else. I think the Hiroko is a drone that can give you some nice durability, plus it's got a built-in weapon, so that is a good choice. And then we also have the Pascal, which is not as good as it used to be, but it's still kind of a nice durability drone. Only thing is, there's one ability on this that only works on like 2 robots in the game, so the one that gives you the armor plates or whatever, the armor plates effect, does not work on anything except for the Curry, and there's another robot that I can't remember offhand. I think it might be something or the other. It's there, whatever. It is something. There's some other thing, but we'll move on. But this drone, the Pascal, will give you a little bit of durability, a little bit of damage resistance, and a little bit of extra damage, so it's still not a bad drone for your tanky robots. Probably not my first choice anymore, but it's not horrible. But generally, the Hawkeye or the Shy is what I... Not the Shy, yeah, oh my god. But generally, the Hawkeye or the Shy drone is what I like to play on my tanks nowadays. And just in general, I think the Shy drone is kind of one of the best all-around drones. I mean, you can throw that on anything, and it's going to work very well. So Shy drone is my #1 choice for pretty much most robots. So bottom line, in my opinion, Fenrir is currently dead when it comes to brawling and up-close fighting, unless you're just doing one-on-one, and that only works if it's not like a Dux or a Ravager or something that's doing way more damage than anything should ever be able to do. That's the one problem with this game right now, is things are just doing way too much damage. I think they really need to tone that down or start giving the robots more durability, because none of the robots in the game can handle taking the amount of damage that some of these weapons are currently dishing out. And that's one thing I hate about the game right now, is how fast everything dies. It's crazy. But if you play the Fenrir as more of a mid-range fighter, I do think it can survive. You got to learn to corner shoot. You got to learn to use cover. You got to learn to be aware of your surroundings and always know what's where and what's around you, because it is pretty squishy these days. Those Ravengers will blow you up across the map. It's just crazy. So bottom line is the Fenrir is still a decent robot. You can build it in the workshop, and it's, you know, it's not what it used to be, but it's a decent mid-range fighter at this point. Again, as things change in the game and as weapons get rebalanced and this changes and that changes, maybe the Fenrir will come back at some point as a brawler. But right now, I think it's a decent mid-range fighter at best. it's probably still worth building in the workshop if you don't have one, but I think there may be a few other robots that might be worth building first, like the Invader. The Invader is a little bit low on firepower, but my Invader usually survives in a brawling situation much longer than my Fenrir currently does. So I think Invader is probably one of my number one choices for something to build in the workshop, along with the Ravena. So Ravena and Invader, that would be my number 1 and 2 workshop robots right now. But the Ravena is very hard to play. It takes somebody who's really good at ability timing, but if you can get a hang of that, Ravena is awesome. Fenrir, it's just a so decent robot at this point, but like I said, maybe that'll change at some point as they rebalance things and the game changes. But as right now, I still recommend the Fenrir, but I do think there's a few other robots you should build first. I just want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. I appreciate each and every one of you a lot, and huge shout out to my channel members. The extra support really helps this channel keep running and bringing you videos just like this. If you drop down the video's description, you'll see my affiliate links where you can get some really awesome stuff like cameras, lighting, microphones, stuff to make your room look cool, air fryers, coffee pots, you name it, all kinds of amazing things. And you'll find a few other ways to help support the channel as well, so thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe check out one of these other videos that are just about to pop up on the screen. I really do appreciate you guys and gals. Have a wonderful day, and we will catch you next time. Lightning out. See ya.